I never expected my life would take such a dramatic turn in my early 30s. As the marketing manager at a Fortune 500 company, I, Sarah Mitchell, had always prided myself on my ability to analyze situations and make rational decisions. But nothing in my MBA studies or professional experience could have prepared me for the emotional turmoil I was about to face. It started 5 years ago when I discovered my then husband James Anderson's infidelity. The pain was fresh, raw, and overwhelming. But what hurt even more was my parents' reaction. I can still remember that day with painful clarity. The morning sun was barely filtering through the windows of our suburban home when I made that fateful drive to my parents' house, tears blurring my vision. "Mom, Dad, I need to tell you something," I managed to say, my voice trembling as I sat in their familiar living room. "James has been cheating on me with his secretary. I have proof." The silence that followed was deafening. My father, Robert, adjusted his reading glasses, a nervous habit I'd known all my life. My mother, Ellen, sat there, her face an unreadable mask. "Sarah," my father finally spoke, his voice carrying that condescending tone I'd grown to dread. "A marriage isn't broken by just one person. What did you do to drive him to this?" The words hit me like a physical blow. "What did I do?" I repeated, incredulous. "Are you seriously defending him?" "Well, honey," my mother chimed in, her voice dripping with false sympathy, "you've always been so focused on your career. All those late nights at the office, those business trips. James has told us how lonely he's been." I felt my world spinning. He, he's been talking to you about our marriage?" "He called us last week," my father admitted without a hint of remorse. "He was very upset about how distant you've been. Sometimes I think that MBA program changed you, Sarah. You used to be such a sweet, accommodating girl." I sat there, stunned by their betrayal. The parents who should have been my strongest supporters were instead defending my cheating husband. It was then I realized that this wasn't just about James's infidelity. It was about years of subtle disapproval, of them prioritizing traditional values over my happiness, of them never truly accepting my choices. "I can't believe this," I whispered, rising from the couch on shaky legs. "I came here for support, and you're blaming me for my husband's affair? Sarah, dear, sit down," my mother pleaded, but her words held no warmth. "Let's discuss this rationally. Marriage takes work, and sometimes we need to accept that men have certain needs." That was the final straw. "No," I stated firmly, gathering my purse. "I won't sit down. And I won't listen to you defend his betrayal. I'm filing for divorce." "You're being dramatic," my father scoffed. "This is exactly the kind of impulsive behavior we're talking about. Think about your future, Sarah. Who's going to want to marry a divorced woman with your attitude?" I walked out of their house that day, my heart breaking not just for my failed marriage, but for the realization that my parents had never truly been on my side. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would test my resilience, challenge my values, and ultimately lead me to a deeper understanding of what family truly means. The following weeks. The weeks that followed were a blur of legal meetings and emotional upheaval. I found myself staying with my best friend, Rachel, in her downtown apartment. She'd offered her spare room without hesitation when I told her everything. "I still can't wrap my head around it," I confessed one evening, sitting on her balcony with a glass of wine. "My own parents, Rachel. They knew he was cheating and didn't tell me. They're stuck in another century," Rachel said firmly, her hand squeezing my shoulder. "You know that MBA threatened their whole woman should be at home worldview." She was right. I'd worked full-time while earning my MBA, climbing the corporate ladder despite my parents' constant disapproval. Each promotion seemed to drive a deeper wedge between us. A woman should prioritize her family, my mother would say during our increasingly rare phone calls. But I'd always believed that personal growth and career success weren't incompatible with a happy marriage. I threw myself into building my new life. The divorce proceedings moved forward, though James tried everything to delay them. His messages ranged from desperate pleas to angry accusations. "We can work this out, Sarah," he'd text. "Let's try counseling." "I made a mistake, but you weren't exactly the perfect wife either." Then came the messages from my parents. Each one felt like a fresh wound. "Stop being stubborn, Sarah. Every marriage has its problems. Think about your future. You're not getting any younger. James is willing to forgive your neglect. Don't throw away your marriage over one indiscretion." I blocked them all. The constant barrage of guilt and manipulation was affecting my work, and I refused to let them derail my life any further. I had my own office at Marshall & Brooks Marketing now, a team that respected me, and clear goals for my future. My lawyer, a sharp-eyed woman named Diana, helped me navigate the divorce efficiently. "They're trying to wear you down," she observed during one of our meetings. "But you have a solid case, and your financial independence makes you stronger than many of my clients." She was right. I'd always maintained my own accounts, had documented evidence of James' infidelity, and my career was flourishing. The divorce was finalized within 6 months, despite James' attempts to drag it out. 6 months later, the day my divorce was finalized, I stood in front of the courthouse, feeling lighter than I had in years. The gold band that had weighted down my left hand was gone, replaced by a sense of possibility I hadn't felt since my 20s. "You did it," Rachel said, hugging me tightly. "I'm so proud of you." "We're celebrating tonight," announced Diana, who'd become more than just my lawyer through this process. First round's on me. As we walked to the parking lot, my phone buzzed with a message from my mother. "I hope you're happy now. You've thrown away a perfectly good marriage." I deleted it without responding. Some relationships, I was learning, needed to end for new ones to begin. I just never expected my relationship with my parents would be one of them. 3 years later, life has a way of surprising you when you least expect it. That's what I was thinking as I sat at a corner table in Le Petit Bistro, one of the most acclaimed restaurants in the city. I was there for a casual dinner with my marketing team, celebrating a successful product launch. None of us could have predicted what would happen next. "Excuse me," a voice said, making me look up from my conversation. A tall man in an impeccably tailored suit stood at our table, his warm brown eyes focused on me. "I'm Daniel Thompson, the owner. I couldn't help but overhear your discussion about the Morrison campaign. It was brilliant work." I felt a flutter of surprise, and something else I couldn't quite name. "Sarah Mitchell," I introduced myself. "And thank you. We're quite proud of it. Would you mind if I joined you for a moment? I'd love to hear more about your approach to digital integration." That moment turned into hours. Long after my team had left, Daniel and I were still talking. It wasn't just about marketing anymore. We discussed everything from our shared love of contemporary art to our similar views on work-life balance. The restaurant had emptied around us, but neither of us seemed to notice. "I should probably confess something," Daniel said, a slight smile playing at his lips. "I didn't just come over here because of the Morrison campaign. I've seen you here before, always wanted to introduce myself, but never found the right moment. I found myself laughing, genuinely laughing, for what felt like the first time in years. And my marketing strategy provided the perfect opening?" "Exactly," he grinned. "Though I didn't expect to be so fascinated by your thoughts on integrated media campaigns. It was refreshing. His honesty, his confidence, the way he seemed genuinely interested in my thoughts and opinions. As he walked me to my car that night, I felt something I hadn't experienced in a long time: hope. "Would you like to have dinner with me tomorrow?" he asked. "Just the two of us this time?" I hesitated for a moment, old fears trying to surface. But something about Daniel felt different. "I'd like that," I heard myself say. That dinner turned into many more. With each meeting, I learned more about Daniel, how he transformed his family's small restaurant into a successful chain across the country, his passion for creating experiences rather than just meals, his close relationship with his parents, who had supported his dreams even when they seemed impossible. "They remortgaged their house to help me open my first restaurant," he told me one evening as we walked through the city park. "Said they believed in me more than they believed in bricks and mortar." The contrast with my own parents couldn't have been more stark, but I pushed that thought aside. I was learning to focus on the present, on the good things in my life. And Daniel was definitely one of those good things. 3 years into relationship, our relationship deepened naturally, organically. Daniel understood my hesitations about marriage, given my past. He never pushed, never pressured. Instead, he showed me through consistent actions that love could be supportive rather than suffocating, empowering rather than limiting. "You know what I love about you," he said one evening as we sat on his penthouse balcony, overlooking the city lights. "You're unapologetically yourself. Your drive, your ambition, they're part of who you are." I squeezed his hand, feeling a rush of emotion. "That hasn't always been appreciated," I admitted, thinking of my parents' constant criticism. "Then they were fools," he said simply. "Being passionate about your career doesn't make you any less capable of love. Look at us. We both work hard, but we make time for what matters." It was true. Despite running his restaurant empire and my continuing advancement in my career, I'd recently been promoted to senior marketing director. We'd built a solid relationship. We supported each other's dreams, celebrated each other's successes, and provided comfort during setbacks. The proposal. When Daniel proposed, it wasn't a grand gesture in one of his restaurants or a public spectacle. Instead, it happened one morning in his kitchen. Our kitchen, really, since I'd moved in a year ago. I was in my pajamas, hair a mess, reviewing quarterly reports over coffee. "Marry me," he said, placing a cup of fresh coffee beside my laptop. I looked up, startled. "What?" He smiled, pulling out a small velvet box from his robe pocket. "I love you, Sarah. I love how you scrunch your nose when you're concentrating on work. I love how you can discuss marketing strategies and Star Wars theories with equal passion. I love that you're as comfortable in the boardroom as you are here, in our kitchen, looking absolutely beautiful in your old Yale sweatshirt." My heart was pounding as he knelt beside my chair. "I'm not asking you to be a different person. I'm asking to be your partner in life, exactly as you are. Will you marry me?" The ring he held was elegant but not ostentatious, a perfect oval diamond set in platinum. But it was his words that brought tears to my eyes. He understood me, accepted me, celebrated me. "Yes," I whispered, then laughed through my tears. "Yes, absolutely yes." Later that day, after sharing the news with his overjoyed parents over FaceTime, I posted a simple announcement on social media. A photo of our hands intertwined, the ring catching the morning light, with the caption, he asked. I said yes. I didn't expect what would happen next. The unexpected message. 3 days after our engagement announcement, an email arrived in my inbox that made my blood run cold. The sender, Ellen Mitchell, my mother. Dearest Sarah, we've just heard about your engagement and wanted to congratulate you. We've read about Daniel Thompson and his family's remarkable success in the restaurant industry. We're so proud that you found someone of such prestigious standing. I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. After 5 years of silence, broken only by occasional cold encounters at family events, this was what brought them back. Daniel's success. A second email arrived the next day, even more revealing. Sarah darling, we've done more research about the Thompson family business. Their restaurant chain is truly impressive. We'd love to reconnect and be part of your special day. After all, you're about to join such a prestigious family. Can you believe this? I showed the emails to Daniel that evening, my voice tight with anger. 5 years of nothing, and now suddenly they're interested because of your family's wealth? Daniel read the emails, his expression darkening. They didn't even mention you, your success, your happiness. It's all about our family's business. Classic Robert and Ellen Mitchell. I laughed bitterly. Always focused on appearances and social status. I blocked their email addresses, but apparently that wasn't enough to deter them. Somehow, I still don't know how, they found our address. The confrontation. The doorbell rang one evening while Daniel and I were preparing dinner. Through the security camera, I saw them, my parents, standing in our hallway, looking expectantly at our door. Daniel squeezed my hand. We don't have to let them in. No. I took a deep breath. Let's hear what they have to say. Just stay with me? He nodded, his presence giving me strength as he opened the door. Sarah. My mother stepped forward as if to hug me, but I took a step back. We've missed you so much, darling. Really? I kept my voice level. You've had 5 years to reach out. Why now? We've wanted to contact you many times, my father said, his eyes darting around our expensive penthouse. We just wasn't sure how to bridge the gap. The gap you created, I reminded them, when you chose to support my cheating ex-husband over your own daughter. The confrontation continues. My mother's face fell into practiced concern. Sarah, darling, we've made mistakes. We realize that now. But we've read so much about Daniel and his family's success. We're so proud of the woman you've become. The woman I've become? I felt Daniel's hand tighten supportively around mine. I'm the same woman I was 5 years ago when you told me I was throwing away my marriage. The same woman you criticized for being too career-focused when James cheated on me. That was different, my father interjected, his voice taking on that familiar patronizing tone. We were trying to protect you then. But now, marrying into the Thompson family, that's quite an achievement. Daniel stepped forward, his usual warmth replaced by cold anger. Mr. Mitchell, with all due respect, your daughter is the senior marketing director at a Fortune 500 company. She's achieved more on her own than most people dream of. If you're only here because of my family's wealth, you're missing what makes Sarah truly exceptional. My father's face reddened. Now see here, young man. No, you see here. I cut in, finding strength in Daniel's support. I don't need your approval anymore. I didn't need it when I got my MBA. I didn't need it when I divorced James. And I certainly don't need it now that I'm marrying Daniel. You're being arrogant, my father snapped. Just because you're marrying into money doesn't mean. I think it's time for you to leave. Daniel's voice was quiet but firm. And for the record, Sarah's net worth from her own career success is probably higher than yours. Not that it matters to either of us. What matters is that you've had 5 years to be parents to your daughter, and you chose status over love every time. My parents left, but not before my father turned back with a final barb. Watch out for her attitude problem. It's what ruined her last marriage. Did you know her ex-husband is happily married now? to his secretary, of all people. While Sarah's just getting engaged at her age. Daniel shut the door firmly in their faces, then turned to me. I'm sorry they found our address. Are you okay? I surprised myself by laughing. You know what? I am. For the first time, I truly am. They have no power over me anymore. He pulled me into a hug, and I felt the last traces of tension leave my body. Let's finish making dinner, I suggested. I'm thinking we should celebrate. Celebrate what? Being free. Being us. Being happy despite them. Not because of them. The aftermath. The next morning, my phone rang. It was my paternal grandparents, George and Martha. Their call wasn't entirely unexpected, but their message was. Sarah, dear, Grandma Martha's voice carried that disappointed tone I'd grown to dread. We heard about what happened with your parents. And that comment your fiance made about their financial situation. I pinched the bridge of my nose, feeling a headache coming on. Grandma, they showed up uninvited at our home. They insulted me, my choices, and only seemed interested in Daniel's family wealth. But they're still your parents, Grandpa George chimed in. They provided for you, gave you a good education. And now you're letting your fans humiliate them about money? Money that isn't even yours, Sarah. It's your in-laws' wealth. That's not what happened, I tried to explain, keeping my voice steady. Daniel was defending me because a man who can't respect your family will never truly respect you, Grandma Martha interrupted. Before I could respond, they hung up. I sat there, staring at my phone, feeling a complex mix of emotions. Part of me wanted to call them back, to explain everything in detail. But another part of me was tired. Tired of justifying my choices. Tired of being made to feel guilty for living my life on my terms. Later that evening, they're wrong, you know, Daniel said when I told him about the call. We were sitting on our balcony, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of pink and gold. About all of it. I know, I nodded, leaning into his embrace. And the funny thing is, I'm not even angry anymore. I'm just done. Done trying to meet their expectations. Done trying to make them understand. What do you want to do about the wedding? They'll probably try to contact us again. I thought about it for a moment, watching the city lights begin to twinkle below us. I want a small wedding. Just people who truly support us and love us for who we are, not what we have. Daniel smiled, pressing a kiss to my temple. That sounds perfect. Though I have to warn you, my entire family will want to come. They're already excited about meeting the brilliant marketing director who stole my heart. I laughed, feeling lighter than I had in days. As long as they don't expect me to give up my career to run your restaurants, they're all welcome. Are you kidding? Mom's already planning to pick your brain about our marketing strategy. Dad says our social media presence improved just from me dating you. And just like that, I knew we'd be okay. More than okay, we'd be happy, successful, and surrounded by people who genuinely cared about us. Sometimes the family you choose is better than the family you're born into. 2 months later, my parents appeared at our door again, unannounced. This time, I was alone. Daniel was at a board meeting for his restaurant chain's expansion plans. Through the door security camera, I saw my mother's tear-streaked face. Sarah, please, she called out. We just want to talk. For a moment, I considered ignoring them. But something in my mother's voice made me open the door, though I didn't invite them in. We've been doing a lot of thinking, my father began, looking older and more tired than I remembered. We were wrong. Not just now, but 5 years ago too. We were so caught up in our own beliefs about what makes a good marriage, a good life, my mother added, her voice trembling. Sometimes we're confused about you, about your choices, but we should have supported you, not judged you. I studied their faces, looking for signs of manipulation, but all I saw was exhaustion and regret. You hurt me, I said simply, not just with James, but throughout my life. Every achievement of mine was measured against your traditional expectations. We know, my father nodded, and we'll spend the rest of our lives being sorry for that. We don't expect forgiveness right now. We just want a chance, maybe someday, to be part of your life again. I took a deep breath. I need time and space. If you really want to make things right, respect that. They nodded, and for the first time in years, I saw genuine understanding in their eyes. My mother wiped her tears, straightening her shoulders. We'll wait, she said, however long it takes. As they turned to leave, my father paused. We are proud of you, Sarah. Not because of who you're marrying or what you have, but because of who you are. I'm sorry it took us so long to say that. I closed the door, leaning against it. The words I'd wanted to hear for so long. But now they felt like rain on parched earth. It would take time for them to sink in, to see if anything would grow from them. Wedding week. The week of our wedding arrived like a dream. We'd chosen a boutique venue, an elegantly restored historical building with a stunning rooftop garden overlooking the city. The guest list was intimate, just as we'd planned. Daniel's family had become my family in so many ways. His mother, a warm, intelligent woman who'd built the original family restaurant from scratch, had taken me under her wing without trying to replace my own mother. His father, with his quiet wisdom and unwavering support, showed me what paternal love should look like. My maternal grandparents sent their regrets. My grandfather's health wouldn't allow them to travel. But their card was filled with love and support. No mentions of family drama or expectations. Just pure, simple love. Wedding day. The wedding was everything we'd wanted. Elegant but understated, full of joy and genuine emotion. Daniel's eyes filled with tears when he saw me walking down the aisle, and I couldn't stop smiling throughout the entire ceremony. During the reception, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. It was my parents. Congratulations, Sarah. We heard from family that today was your wedding day. We respect your wishes and didn't try to attend, but we want you to know we're happy for you and hope you find all the joy you deserve in your new life. I showed the message to Daniel as we swayed together during our first dance. What do you think? He asked softly, his arms steady around me. I considered carefully. I think it's the first message they've ever sent that wasn't about them. Maybe people can change. But for now, this is perfect, just us, just this. He pulled me closer as the music played on. Just us, he agreed. Though technically, just us now includes my entire enthusiastic Italian family. I laughed, resting my head on his shoulder. I think I can handle that kind of family drama. Around us, our chosen family celebrated. Friends who'd stood by me through the divorce, colleagues who'd become friends, Daniel's wonderfully boisterous extended family. Love, I was learning, comes in many forms. Sometimes it's loud and demonstrative, like Daniel's family. Sometimes it's quiet and steady, like my maternal grandparents' support. And sometimes it's complicated and imperfect, like my parents' journey to understanding. But the best kind of love? It's the kind that lets you be exactly who you are, while challenging you to become the best version of yourself. Just like what Daniel and I had found in each other.